Good morning, everyone. This is Mrs. Teeton with a Black History Month chapter chat. For Black History Month, I wanted to share a book called Stamped: Racism, Anti-Racism, and You. This book is written by Jason Reynolds with historical research by Dr. Ibram X. Kendi. Jason Reynolds is an award-winning author and poet who writes for young people. What makes his writing so powerful is that it sounds real, like someone's having a conversation with you. He often says he writes for kids who don't always see themselves as readers, and that's exactly why this book works. Dr. Ibram X. Kendi is a historian and professor who studies American history, especially how ideas about race were created and spread. He originally wrote a book called Stamped from the Beginning, which is a deep, research-heavy history book written for adults. This version, Stamped, is a remix. Jason Reynolds took Dr. Kendi's research and rewrote it so young people could understand it, question it, and talk about it. That's why these two authors are qualified to write this book. One brings the history, and one brings the voice. This book isn't about memorizing dates or blaming people. It's about ideas. How ideas about race were created, how they were repeated, and how they were passed down over time. The book introduces 3 ways people tend to think: racist ideas, anti-racist ideas, and the idea of being neutral, which this book challenges because neutrality often allows unfairness to continue. I'm going to let Jason Reynolds himself read a short excerpt from Chapter 1 because it tells you exactly what kind of book this is.
Chapter 1. The story of the world's first racist. Before we begin, let's get something straight. This is not a history book. I repeat, this is not a history book. At least not like the ones you're used to reading in school. The ones that feel more like a list of dates, and there will be some. With an occasional war here and there, a declaration, definitely gonna mention that. A constitution, that too. A court case or two, and of course, the paragraph that's read during Black History Month. Harriet, Rosa, Martin. This isn't that. This isn't a history book. Or at least, it's not that kind of history book. Instead, what this is a book that contains history. A history directly connected to our lives as we live them right this minute. This is a present book. A book about the here and now, a book that hopefully will help us better understand why we are where we are as Americans, specifically as our identity pertains to race. The R word, which for many of us still feels rated R, or can be matched only with another R word, run. But don't. Let's all just take a deep breath. Inhale, hold it, exhale, and breathe out, race. See? Not so bad. Except for the fact that race has been a strange and persistent poison in American history, which I'm sure you already know. I'm also sure that depending on where you are and where you've grown up, your experiences with it, or at least the moment in which you recognize it, may vary. Some may believe race isn't an issue anymore, that it's a thing of the past, old tales for bad times. Others may be certain that race is like an alligator, a dinosaur that never went extinct but instead evolved. And though hiding in murky swamp waters, that leftover monster is still deadly. And then there are those of you who know that race, and more critical, racism, are everywhere. Those of you who see racism regularly robbing people of liberty, whether as a violent stick-up or as a sly pickpocket. The thief known as racism is all around. This book, this not history book, this present book is meant to take you on a race journey from then to now to show why we feel how we feel, why we live how we live, and why this poison, whether recognizable or unrecognizable, whether it's a scream or a whisper, just won't go away. This isn't the be-all end-all. This isn't the whole meal. It's more like an appetizer, something in preparation for the feast to come, something to get you excited about choosing your seat, the right seat, at the table. Oh, and there are 3 words I want you to keep in mind. 3 words to describe the people we'll be exploring: segregationists, assimilationists, anti-racists. There are serious definitions to these things, but I'm going to give you mine. Segregationists are haters, like real haters, people who hate you for not being like them. Assimilationists are people who like you, but only with quotation marks, like you, meaning they like you because you're like them. And then there are anti-racists. They love you because you're like you. But it's important to note, life can rarely be wrapped into single-word descriptions. It isn't neat and perfectly shaped. So sometimes, over the course of a lifetime, and even over the course of a day, people can take on and act out ideas represented by more than one of these three identities. Can be both and. Just keep that in mind as we explore these folks. And actually, these aren't just the words we'll be using to describe the people in this book. They're also the words we'll be using to describe you. And me. All of us.
What this book is really saying is that history isn't just something that happened a long time ago. The ideas from the past still shape the world we live in today, unless we stop and question them. As we continue through Black History Month, here's a question I want you to think about. If ideas can be passed down for generations, how do we decide which ones we keep and which ones need to be challenged? If this book interests you, come see me in room 204. It's honest, powerful, and written in a way that feels like someone is talking with you, not at you. Have a wonderful week.